Family winds up with one very unusual new dog due to a confounding turn of events. Some animal sanctuaries are pretty indiscriminate about the breeds of animals they take on. Right next to pens of lazy rescued pigs might be a herd of energetic pygmy goats. Beside a henhouse might be the home of an old retired dog. There are lots of personalities. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. But one Canadian rescue, an Australian shepherd, formed friendships with all the other animals on the farm. But when a frightened newcomer arrived and threatened to shake up the dog's tight-knit family, the old pooch made a decision that stunned fans across the internet. Lincoln, the Australian shepherd, led a busy life on Ontario, Canada's Black Goat Farm and Sanctuary. There, he had a lot of super important duties to take care of day to day. One of those self-proclaimed duties was caring for injured and/or orphaned animals such as kittens, goats, and even little chicks. He's pretty good at it too, which goes a long way in helping the farm complete its mission. See, Black Goat Farm and Sanctuary provides a forever home for animals in need and wishes to make the public aware of the harmful treatment that livestock experience. Black Goat often saves baby cows from dairy farms where they would have been, dead meat. And in July of 2018, Black Goat rescued a sweet little calf from a dairy farm, which had plans to ship him off to the wrong places. Since the calf, named Calvin, was prematurely taken from his mother, he never had a parental figure in his life. So when Calvin arrived at Lincoln's home, you'd think he'd initially be anxious and confused in this strange new environment, considering he'd become dismally acclimated to this depressing concrete pen at the dairy farm. But upon Calvin's initial release into the clear green Ontario fields, he leaped and ran as if he'd just been granted his very own legs. After all, he hadn't been able to move around much at the dreaded dairy farm. Despite his relief and gratitude regarding his newfound freedom, Calvin was still a bit overwhelmed. Then on his first day at Black Goat, Calvin met Lincoln, the protective Australian shepherd. The two approached one another, considering the other. Would Lincoln accept this skittish young calf into the family? It was love at first sight. The two bonded right away, and according to Megan and Mike Mastacci, the owners of Black Goat Farm and Sanctuary, Lincoln took a peculiar interest in the calf. Megan and Mike explained that at first, Lincoln took on the role of a guard dog. Not only was Lincoln there to keep Calvin feeling calm and secure in his new home, but he wouldn't let anyone near the little cow. Calvin, who became attached to the Australian shepherd's hip, eventually realized that Lincoln wasn't afraid of Megan, Mike, or any of the other animals, leading him to feel more comfortable and extroverted. Soon enough, Calvin learned to trust in ways he never could have at the dairy farm. He soared at Black Goat, the magnanimous farm being Calvin's very own safe haven. And due to his tight bond with Lincoln, Calvin started developing dog-like behavioral habits. Eventually, though, the duo faced trouble. Black Goat Farm and Sanctuary adopted another cow. Calvin hadn't seen a cow since he was born at the dairy farm, so now used to essentially being a canine, he was bewildered to say the least. Upon an awkward first meeting, Calvin and the new calf, Zoe, booped noses, which proved to be the start of a blossoming friendship. This also helped Calvin with his, identity crisis, as he started to realize he wasn't actually a dog. Zoe and Calvin bonded pretty quickly, possibly due to empathy, as both of them were taken from their mothers at a very young age. But as close as the two cattle became, no one could replace Lincoln, who had his own special relationship with Zoe. After Zoe's arrival, Lincoln then protected both of his cow little siblings, declaring ownership of his bovine family. But eventually the little calves grew up to be enormous adult cows. Would they even need Lincoln anymore? As little Calvin grew to the size of a small sedan, Lincoln was still by his side, watching over his little bro, assuring his safety while he grazed in the fields. Megan Mastacci joked that although Lincoln is a fantastic guard dog to his cows, he'd be zero help in a situation that would require him to guard the house. Let's hope the Mastaccis have a high-tech security system. It's heartwarming to see that although Calvin no longer needed a maternal figure by the time he was quadruple the size of Lincoln, he was still more than happy to continue to be nurtured by the pup. As silly and cute as this relationship is, the fact that Calvin liked to be nourished emotionally goes along with the central message and morals that Black Goat Farm and Sanctuary wishes to pass along. Black Goat wishes for society to see traditional livestock animals as its owners do: intelligent, caring, individual, and sentient. The philanthropic farm and sanctuary just oozes with love and positivity. Luckily, the organization's getting help spreading its kindness by nonprofits halfway across the world.